Hello and welcome to the 21st edition of Drive Through Review. Today we're going to be talking about the Burgen von Burgund, or in English, the Castles of Burgundy. It's Dice Euro by Stefan Feld. It plays 2 to 4 players. Um, I'm going to give you a quick review here and then jump right into how it plays. So forgive me if I'm a little bit of a sort of a fanboy gushing at this moment. I'm still sort of in the sublime unraveling of the game. I've only played it a handful of times, but I've enjoyed each play. And basically, if you've played like Alien Frontiers or Kingsburg, um, I haven't played Troyes or Troyes, but I definitely like this better than Alien Frontier and Kingsburg by far. Uh, it's it's not like Stone Age. It seems similar to one of his other games called Macau, which I haven't played, but it's been told it's similar. Um, my game group seems to be unanimous in the fact that they like this better than Troyes. Well, I haven't played it, so I can't vouch for it. But like I said, it's pretty sublime. There's a lot of variety to it. There's a lot, I think, underneath the covers to it, and it's kind of right on the edge of being a gateway, but there has a sort of a race for the galaxy problem. As for in terms of being a gateway, I don't think it's a problem personally. But anyway, let's jump into kind of how it works and the mechanisms involved, and then come back. Okay, so here we have the board set up for a 3-player game. And the game is going to consist of this board here, which is sort of like a central marketplace for the players that has a score track going around the outside, and then this little turn order track, which is pretty neat. And then each player is going to have a little play mat. And this one you can see there's different colored areas here, and each of them has a little die depicted on it, as well as some, player aid information and some storage areas for some of the tiles they'll be getting. Now these are actually double-sided, and what you're looking at here is the basic starting side. There's actually 4 of these in the game. But if you flip it over, you can see this is slightly different here, and this is sort of an advanced layout here. And what players are going to do is they're going to get a castle to start the game. And if you're playing the basic game, which is what I'm going to be showing you, you're just going to put that castle there right in the middle. And then you're going to be acquiring tiles and building out from this center area. Because anytime you place a tile, it's got to be adjacent to a pre-existing tile. And so these dark green spaces will allow castles. These light green spaces are like pastures where you'll put animals and things. These yellow spaces are a little bit tricky. This is sort of the race for the galaxy aspect of it. These are going to have yellowed knowledge tiles, and all of those are going to have like little, I don't know how well you can see that, but different abilities on it with, icons and, different things like that. And those are going to the yellow spaces. These brownish spaces here and here are for building tiles. And then these gray spaces are for mines, and then these are where you actually do some shipping in the game. Now players are going to get a dice, 2 dice in their color. So the green player will get these 2 dice, black gets those, and the starting castle, like I was saying. So what the player is going to do on his turn is all the players simultaneously are going to roll the dice. And they basically get 2 actions, and each action is they're going to use a dice to represent those actions. So like I said, each turn you get 2 actions, and then there's also a possible 3rd action that you can do, which entails buying things from a part of the market, and you can do that once. So let me just kind of break down the turn structure here. So what's going to happen in the first round is there's 5 stacks up here of these good tiles. And so to start off the first round, you're going to take and lay these out like so. So it acts as a sort of a timing mechanism for the game. as a way of sort of keeping the game progressing forward for seeding the board with goods. So let me zoom in a little bit here on the board, and then you can kind of see how all these little areas of the marketplace work. Okay, you can see that around this central area here, this is sort of a central market, there are 6 spaces for these other markets, and each of these has a die next to them, a 6, a 5, a 1, 2, 3, 4. So on a player's turn, let's say I'm going to be green, he's going to roll the dice, like so. So one of the players is going to get this white dice. And again, these rules instruct that the start player should get the white dice. You're going to take the white dice, you're going to take the top good off of this good track and throw it in the little cargo bay there of the 1. So that's going to have a little shipping area where when you ship, you're going to possibly grab the goods out of there. So each turn, you're going to roll this white dice, and it's going to seed the market with these goods that you can sell. So now you can see we've got a 2 and a 5. Well, what this means for one of my actions, I can use one of my dice to go and take a good from a corresponding location of the dice. So I can go say, this is the 5, I could go take this building here, or this mine, or this knowledge tile. Or I could go over to here to the 2 spot and take the castle, the knowledge tile, or the building. Let's say this was a 6. So I wanted to take this shipping tile here. So I could take that tile for one action and use up that action. And now I've got a 2. Well, feasibly, let's say I could take this castle. I could take that and my turn would be done. Or, instead of taking that castle, I could use this other action, this 2, to place it on my player board. So let's take a look at the player board. So when I purchased that ship tile, I would have to put that here in my storage area. Now you can see you can store up to 3 tiles here, no more than that. So I took that for that one action. So if I rolled that 2, I can use this action to place anything into any 2. Remember, we start with a castle in the middle. So there's only one spot I can put a 2 here because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I could use this, luckily, because this blue tile is allowed to be placed in the blue space, and I'm adjacent there, and there's a 2. So I can put that, and then I can end my turn. So in addition to starting off with just your castle here, you actually start with 3 randomly drawn good tiles. So I would have these in my cargo base here. So the way that these work is you can have 3 different. So if you had actually 2 of the same, you put them in the same cargo bay there, like so. So I'd have that one free to start the game if this was the tiles that I was given. So if I chose, instead of placing this ship tile here for this 2 action, I could actually use it to sell these goods here, because you can see they've got 2 pips on them there. So I could use that to sell this. And so when I sell this, you'll get some victory points for selling. Plus you also get some coin. And the coin in this game is represented by these little stones here. So you just put that in your little stone bank. And the stones are used to purchase tiles from the central market. So let me show you that. So the central market is this central market here that's not connected to any of these dice pips. Now, one time per turn, you can use 2 coins or 2 stones to purchase any tile here. Well, you can see that these tiles are represented here by black backs, like that. The tiles that go out here are specifically colored. So this blue shipping tile has a blue back. And these have very specific spots that they'll be. So once per turn, you can actually spend money, like I said, and purchase the tiles. And so those are the basic actions that you can take. You'll roll the dice. You can either purchase a tile or grab a tile from one of the good spaces that matches your dice. You can then you can place it on one of the matching dice. You could sell a good that you may have in your cargo bay. And then there's a 4th action, which is you can actually just turn one of your dice in for 2 workers. And say these workers have a plus and minus 1. So these are sort of like your tools in Stone Age, if you've played that, where you can actually spend these after you've rolled your dice to increase or decrease your dice by a value of 1. So these are extremely valuable. And the cool thing is that you can actually, if you had a 6 and you spent the plus 1, it'll roll over to a 1. And vice versa, if you had a 1, you could use it as for the negative 1, and it'll go down to a 6. Plus, you can spend as many as you want. So if you had a 5 and you wanted to roll it all the way up to a 2, you could spend multiple of these to get the 2 that you wanted. That's your 4 actions. Take a tile, place a tile, sell a good, or turn one of your dice in for 2 workers. And then everybody gets, you can do 2 of those, and you use your dice to do it. And then everybody gets a 1 extra action, which, like I said, is to spend 2 coins to purchase one of these. And you can do that anytime in your turn. But you can only do it once per turn. So the gameplay itself is pretty smooth. It's pretty simple. Everybody rolls the dice at the same time. Whoever's first in the turn order here, and whoever's on top of the stack gets to go first. And then you just go in turn order. Everybody takes their choices, and then you move on for that. And the nice thing is you can sit there and look at your dice and have a fair idea of what you might do, because even if somebody else rolled a 6 and you wanted maybe this tile, you can go, okay, well, I've got a worker, I can go up or down, or maybe I can take one of these tiles instead of adjust my strategy a little bit. So I've heard of complaints about AP, and I haven't played it with 4 yet, but the AP has not really been too bad in a 3-player game. So the first player on each turn may have AP, but everybody else should be thinking about what they're doing. So the second, third, and fourth player should be able to take their turn pretty quickly after the first player figures out what to do. So here's an example of all the various tile types in the game. So you've got your gray mines here, you got your dark green castles, then your light green pastures here, and these will always depict a certain number of animals. And then the yellow, sort of the combo-rific, race to the galaxy icon-orific tiles here. That'll give you special abilities to kind of break the basic rules of the game, and give you something like, you get 4 points for every one of these buildings, or 4 points for every bonus tile you get, or something like that. And these are buildings. And then this is a shipping tile here, blue shipping tile, and this here is a square goods tile. So let me just go back to the player board and kind of show you a little bit about how these tiles interact, and really where the meat of the game comes in. So you can see here we are back at the player board. So let me just kind of go through each of these areas specifically and give you a basic idea of what's going to happen when you place a tile in each of these areas. So let's talk about the pastures first. So when you get a pasture tile, and you can see this one here portrays 4 little sheep on it. So if I place that in this pasture tile, and this is illegal, remember, because I'm not adjacent to any tiles, but I'm just giving you an example here. So if I place that, I'm going to get 4 victory points right away for the sheep. So let's say on a later turn I go and put this one with 3 pigs in there. So I'll get 3 victory points for the pigs. Well, let's say on a later turn I go and I've got this one with 4 pigs on it. And so if I put this one here, I'm actually going to score 4 points for those pigs and another 3 points for these pigs. Because whenever you place the same type of animal, it's going to score with any other like animals in that same region there. So if I had a pig over here, it's not going to count because it's just this own little region. So it's a nice little quick way to score some quick victory points. Now this dark green area is where you put another castle. And castles are cool because as soon as you place a castle, it's like you've just received a free dice. So you basically get another action, but that dice can be any number you want. So you can do it to grab basically any tile you have on the board, or place any tile that you have here that you maybe didn't roll a dice for. So this is pretty handy too, and there's not very many castles in the game. They're highly sought after. The next thing you might get is a mine here, and if you place the mine in the gray area, what's going to happen now at the end of the round, which is the end of when, let's bring this over real quick, when you've placed the last good in this row here, the round's going to end, and then you're going to draw from that top stack at the top and fill this row or column up again. So when that ends and you've got a mine card here, a mine tile, you're going to generate 1 coin at the end of the round. Not a whole lot, As you can see, coins are relatively scarce, especially towards the very early part of the game. But this is handy if you can get some of these out early and get some coin generating so you can purchase those other tiles in the middle. So that's the mines. And then, like I said earlier, the shipping uh, tiles are a little bit different. And they're a little tricky. They're not real tricky. I just have to explain them a little bit more detail than the others. So when you place a shipping tile, you're going to be able to go back to the main board here and grab any tile, any of these good tiles that might be in one of these cargo bays. So you can choose any of them. It doesn't matter what dice you rolled. As soon as you place that ship, you can go to any of these cargo bays and grab all of the tiles. And what you do is you grab those and then you immediately place them in an available container on your side. So you can see these are both the same color, so I can legally put those in there. Now if I didn't have room for any of those, then any that I couldn't legally place or didn't have room for would stay on the main board. The other thing that happens with the shipping, we'll go back to the main board again, is you get to progress in the turn order. So you start the game off stacked like this. So we got green, blue, and black. So if blue had done this, he would skip up ahead like so, and he would now be first. But the kind of the neat thing is it's sort of last in, first out type thing. So if green had come along and he shipped, then he would jump up here and he'd be on top of blue again. So he would be first again. And then if black came and he was in shipped, he would be on top. And then it would go down in order. So it's kind of, top down, right to left. So if black was up here, he would go first, green second, and then blue third. So shipping is cool because it's a way to give you some goods to be able to sell later for more coins and more victory points. But it's also a way to kind of run up and give yourself first choice of the tiles. So if you can kind of ship early, that's good, or ship at the end of the game. I'm not trying to give away strategies here, but you can see how that might be good. Alright, so that's the shipping tiles. Now these last two, the buildings and the knowledge tiles, are where the little combos and the actions come in. So if you look over here on your player sheet, you've got this chart here. And it gives you a basic breakdown of everything that I've been explaining as far as, what does shipping do, what do the pastures do with the animals, what do the castles do. And then you can see there's got a full breakdown here of the 8 different building types. Now some will let you immediately sell a good, some will immediately let you take goods off of the board. These 3 let you take, this one will let you take a building, this one will let you take a mine or a knowledge tile or whatever, this one will let you take a shipping tile and a pasture off the board. As soon as you place like this building, you place that and then you immediately can take it from anywhere. So you can see these buildings are really good. Again, that lets you break the rules. When you place this building, you get 4 workers right away. This one will give you 2 coins. This one will let you place any tile that you may have in your storage right on the board. This one will just give you 4 points. Now, another aspect of this, when you place the tiles, is if you fill up any sort of region here, the closed off region. And so if I had placed these 2 pastures here, I've closed that off and I'll score that as a block. And it's got this little chart here. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tiles big. So I'll score 15 points for that. But you get an additional bonus here. So if I go up here to the top, let me move my camera a little bit. Now I'm not sure how well you can see this, but when we unveiled that first set of tiles up here, you can see there's a 10 symbol for 10 points there. So anytime I complete any size region in the first round, you get an additional 10 points. And then you get 8, 6, 4, 2. So the bonus is really nice in the early part of the game, to finish a region, but it's going to be really hard for you to finish those bigger regions. So you can see back on the board here that there are smaller regions here. Like you've got this little region here that's just 1 building. Well, that's only going to get you 1 point normally, but you do that in the first round, you get an additional 10 points. All right, so I hope you enjoyed my overview. I try my hardest not to make like a marketing piece for these games, but I don't review games I don't like. So that's kind of difficult. But anyway, I really enjoy this game, and the thing about it is it's hard to explain this unless you've played it, I think. But the way that the dice are treated in this game is very different than, like some of the other games I mentioned at the beginning. And it's almost like you get to a point where it doesn't matter what you roll, really. If you've kind of planned a little bit ahead of time and set yourself up after you play a couple times, you can kind of learn what to do. And it doesn't really matter what you roll. And there will be times where like you're one worker short or whatever, but that's all right. It's not a huge deal. But you've got the advanced layouts and the beginner layouts. And the beginner layouts, I hate to say beginner because it actually kind of fosters more competition because everybody has the same sort of natural progression that they probably are going to go for. Whereas everybody's playing advanced layouts, then everybody's a little bit different. So there is some definitely kind of head-to-head dueling. Like with the two-player, it's really apparent. And the player aids on the board are actually really nice and great. It kind of lessens that race for the galaxy quality that might shy people away. And I think I might try this out maybe with some folks that are more gateway gamers. But I think if um, you read off all the abilities for the buildings beforehand, and then you just kind of read off the abilities of the yellow tiles as they come out, it makes things a little bit easier. Anyway, like I said, it's not really available right now. I was lucky and got one from Boards and Bits. They brought over I don't know how many copies, but they got a few over and sold them out. But apparently, at the time of this video, anyway, Rio Grande is thinking of making a larger print run. So hopefully, people can take the plunge, and hopefully, what I've shown you is adequate to get you to like it if you're into this kind of thing. But like I said, it's got a nice kind of, I don't know what to say, but it's like it gets that Euro hum to it. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then it doesn't matter. But anyway, thanks.